Yeah, it's too bad, but today my phone, or the camera, or the phone that I use as a camera only, because well, it's fucked. The phone is fucked, but the camera is okay. Was empty, and it takes years to charge. So I went and did my, well, I did several steps. I'll show you what I did. First of all, I finished one, but first of all, I made some coils. I made a lot of coils actually. These are a lot of coils, and they're not all equal. And as you can see, the ones with the crosses, they're bad. So apparently, and this was A4 paper size, so I have more somewhere. But they're kind of, well, they're still working, but they don't look as good. What happened is the etching bath is well, it's kind of done for. Actually, it's done for. Yeah, that's the term I was looking for. It was kind of weird when I got the etching bath. It was kind of sluggish. I don't know, like thick. So I don't know what happened there. So I added some stuff that should normally dissolve this kind of weird haze that it has sometimes. And it did that, but it's not as strong as it used to be. So finally, after a long time, I got rid of this etchant. And I am gonna start new with new etchant, because the failure rate is, well, apparently you can see it's quite, there is some sort of pattern. These are all failed, and these are all quite okay. So actually the bath was kind of weird. Apparently it etches better at some spots, and this one apparently is under etched, so the resistance is too high. It's 5 point something ohm, and this is, all the ones without crosses are 4.3 ohms. But my etching should like be way more aggressive, and the reason is, what I noticed at least, and I'm not sure if this is even true, but that's what I noticed, is if it is really aggressive, it etches away the stuff that you need really quickly, and then it doesn't under etch as much as it would be with weaker etching, which was the case in this case. But anyhow, yeah, so a lot of coils, way too much, because I'm only making one, but yeah. And, well, I'll spare you the details. I'm not very fond of the Rubanoide, as you might have noticed by now. So these are the coils. Cutting it on a cutting mat is usually a good thing, but somehow the roller blade, these, doesn't work on a cutting mat. And it's nicer to work on it with glass or anything hard underneath it. So you're limited to use a normal Stanley knife, and well, this is the result. Some tearing. Anyhow, it's not in. It didn't tear the coil, so that's good. I can still use these, but it's not as nice as I would like it to be. But it's gonna be okay for now, because I know the end result and you guys don't. Because I already made a new membrane, actually I made one off camera, I am gonna make another one so you can see what I did, and I am gonna use another piece of paper, like different paper, so I can also see what the differences are. This is heavy paper, and I'm gonna use some normal 80 grams A4 paper. This is like 180, I think. I don't know, quite thick. I wish I had like 120, but I don't. I ran out of 120 grams of paper. So I drew up this thing. So I can kind of align one coil, and they're gonna sit in this square. So they're, well, if I make these, they're all the same. So what do I need to do? I have to like put some glue on there, and there are several ways to do that. Different glues as well. I'm gonna use some spray glue for now, and I'm pretty sure it's not the best glue to use. I had the best success with cyan acrylate or maybe epoxy, depending on how squishy it stays. It has to harden out, that's the best. But since I tried this one already and it does reach 20k, which is something usually might be a problem if you use kind of this rubbery kind of glue. So it will be fine. So I am gonna use it in this case. But so I make sort of a template to lay over here, so I don't spray all over the place, because well, also I'm gonna spray up till here, and this is where the two butt cheeks kind of yeah, what do you know, I don't know, where they extend. So this part here. So I'll just add this template and just oop. Ooh, this paper is really soggy. I hope it's not gonna bubble all over the place. So that one, then I'll gonna cut off a coil. Let me test them first before I glue something that's not even working. So let me get a meter. It should be like 4.3 ohms or something, I don't know, something in this region. Is this the back side? Yes, it is. Not visible. There we go. 4.6. 4.9. It depends kind of on the surface where you're measuring it. Yeah, so they're all 4.6, 4.5. So that is okay, they're all the same. I measured them before on the hardtop from the kitchen, and it measured 4.3. This is a little bit more smooshy, I don't know, softer material, so it changes, but they're all the same, kind of. So I can use any of these and that will be okay. So let me get something to cut it. I need some straight edge. Oh, here. Finally, I found my ruler. So I'll leave that. I'll just cut it here. And I'll use a normal Stanley. It's such a mess here. It's insane. But I'm good at making a mess. Now, I am gonna stick it like here. These mats have, oh, it's just out of frame. These mats have a little bit of glue already on them because I use it as, well, cutting mat for the plotter. Okay. So this one is almost dried up. I'm gonna make another one. This one here. I'm gonna cut it freehand as well. I hope I can still manage to cut it freehand. Nope. And the hard part. Ooh. This stuff is prone to tearing. This is gonna be the second part. It's really thin material, by the way. It should have a little bit thicker, but I only have the material that I used in this one already, or the floppy stuff. Now we're gonna use the template again, if I can find it. Here it is. Add some glue here as well. There you go. So the markings are gonna be on the other side, so we can align it and make the holes. So I printed out the form of the whole membrane and also where the holes are gonna be. That's nice, I think. And we're gonna use I think it's a leather punch or a punch to well, punch the holes. So we're gonna add the coil. Rather sticky. Yeah. So there you have it, coil on paper. And yeah, what we're gonna do now is scratch the surface a little bit of the contact points. And we're gonna use some flux. It's used for aluminum, soldering aluminum. This is just a little bit too bright. Well, it's gonna be fine. It's not gonna look pretty. Usually it doesn't look pretty. But that's not the point. So I add some of the flux, and as you can see, it will bubble and such, because it's actually just acid, I think. Not sure what acid it is, but... And then I'm gonna use some wires, but I'm not sure what to use. I think I'm gonna use some Lidsen. And this is Lidsen to desolder components. I didn't find any normal Lidsen, but a normal loudspeaker. Oh, maybe I can show you. It's over here. Yeah. So the leads of a normal cone loudspeaker. This is with a lot of cut, quite dirty. You see this wires. This is called Lidsen, and it's like a braided wire. It has a lot of tiny wires that makes up one big wire. And the thing is, it's thick, but it's not stiff, and also it's not noisy. So it doesn't have like a prominent resonance. So that's actually the reason why I just use this for now. It's not ideal, and it's really expensive because it's not used for this. It's used to soak up solder. Ow. And this is sharp. I again cut myself. Okay, so I'm gonna use some of this way too expensive stuff, because I'm not gonna use it as I should. And my Knipex is fucked. And I need one wire that is a tiny bit longer. So that's actually really like 50 cents of wire or something, which is not much, but it's ridiculous for this amount of wire. Got my soldering iron. It's hot. If I can get my cable back, because it's such a mess that my cable is buried under all kinds of tools. We're just gonna zoom in. And you can see my shitty soldering job. Because soldering aluminum is not easy and it's not gonna look pretty. Thing is, I noticed that making sort of a lot of solder on the iron and then just dump it on works best instead of just feeding it, which you normally would do. But hi, puss. So this looks terrible. Will remain terrible, by the way. But I am gonna kind of get rid of this acid. I might actually use some alcohol because otherwise it will corrode. Ow. Okay, so nice. Smells great. Now let me see if I can dump in this. Is this the long one or the short one? Okay. So this is not so noisy material. But as you can see, the soldering action is really disgusting. But that's kind of what happens with this aluminum solder stuff. So this stuff is not shielded. So if I cross it here, it will short out all of these traces. So I'm gonna add some tape here. I mean, it's not pretty, but it works. Okay, something like this. Then we're gonna use our template again. Oh, that's sticky. So, because of course there's no glue on the top side of the membrane yet, so in the meantime I'm gonna remove the old membrane, which is gonna be a bitch, I think. There are so much things that I would want to change if I would do it again. So I'm gonna reuse the strings, I think. So I'm just gonna loosen up one of these screws. Maybe a little bit more so I can just thread it in more easily.
really would like to have these the other way around, but not today. Next time, if there's ever be a next time, because I can imagine.
Also, I tapped these holes, so I use some M5 screws to hold in the second plate. I'll show you right now if I have a hex. What is it? Allen key. You can see it clamps the membrane. Oh, yeah. It's also connected here. This is also a thing. So I connected the wires of the coil. Oh, sorry. To here and here. Just because there were holes. But I could extend this plate a little bit and add two nice of these binding posts and do the same. Just didn't think of it when I made this or drew this, so that's usually what happens. So next time I could change these, turn them 180 degrees, put these here and this one here, so it looks all nice and dandy. But for now, you know, I just want to have some sound and see what it does before I put so much effort in. This is not working quite nicely. I'm gonna use some extra solder to get it going. There we go, it's quite hot. Push. So, that one is gone. Elastic bands are still here, so I'm ready for the new membrane. See what it does. I did measure this one. Ow, fucking hell, that's hot. I did measure this one. It's quite thick paper. So I can compare it to this one. But I wanted to show you how I made it before I kind of judge the thing. Okay, so this one is dry. We're gonna stick on our other thing, paper. Should fit. Kind of. Yeah, well, that lines up quite nicely. And now we're gonna use a hammer. Which is weird. Ow, which is weird, but it works. Does it look dirty? Yes, it does, but it's contact adhesive and it really helps if you like hammer it.
Now, this is going to be the part that you don't want to cut into the wire.
Ooh. Yeah, it's not as stiff as you would expect with cyan acrylate or something. It's much stiffer. This is still, you know, very thin paper. Anyhow, it will work. Did I manage to actually glue it the wrong side? Yes, I think I did. The printing should be on the outside, but it is stuck apparently. But the reason why it's so dirty is because I hammered the glue. Well, anyhow, it is stuck, so I don't care. But it should be the other way around, the second part. I use these to make some holes. Make sure you don't get a hole into your lead. Okay, so this should be possible to fit into the motor. And I think my this video is quite long, so I think next step will be fitting it into the motor. But this is your membrane.